Welcome back to Coffee Talk. This is Coffee Talk, two dykes and a cow, with Jen and Jess. From New Jersey, it's saucy. I'd like to have some of that saucy lasagna.
You're so Italian.
I'd like to have some of your saucy lasagna.
Stop.
You're the kind of saucy lasagna that I like to eat. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about prepping versus independence or sovereignty. But really, it's just independence from the system and some other little tidbits of information I'm sure we'll get thrown in there. But
So I'm Jen. It's my wife, Jess. And the reason why we're having this conversation today is because we've lived it. We've experienced the scarcity mindset that prepping from our own awakening during the COVID era, and how we've shifted from that mindset of scarcity and prepping to learning to become fully or mostly fully independent and sovereign in many different ways. Again, a disclaimer that these are just opinions from us and our own views.
Yep. And if you don't like it, don't fucking listen.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's fair.
That's the best advice I can give you right now.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, don't listen if you don't want to.
But if you do, share it.
Yeah, and if you do get triggered, use that as an opportunity for self-growth. Look inward.
Speaking of, my brother tagged me yesterday and he said, on your post, and he said, I hope that you're listening to this. And I was like, you son of a bitch.
He's like, that was for you, Jess.
I was like, you son of a bitch. It was actually for you. She wrote it for you.
I wrote it for everybody because it's also my experience. Because we're all connected and we all have this same human experience. So we all go through it together. So it's so funny, Mitch. I saw that. Okay, so the reason why we're having this conversation, mostly because in 2020, when we woke up to the 2030 agenda, and once we learned what was really being pushed by the one percenters, by the World Economic Forum, that was a huge wake-up call for us to learn how dependent, or to become aware of how dependent we are on the current systems within which we live. And part of a big reason why we moved to our farm and to develop more sovereignty in all the ways that we live, or work towards that, was to but to actually thrive in life rather than to be walking around sleeping and not paying attention to how we live and who we are and what we're doing here. So that was one of the most wonderful gifts that we received during the pandemic, was that it woke us up. It really did, and it woke us up to life. But before we got into a clearer direction with where we were going and how to use it for our benefit and to find purpose out of it, we had to go through that dark night of the soul, the fear, the what the hell is the point of anyways? Why are we even here? What's the point in this? Like, why do I even try? Right? Like that devastation, depressed,
Hopelessness. I think
hopelessness.
But I think that's what they're pushing, is hopelessness. They want everybody to just be hopeless
and helpless.
and helpless. Hopeless and helpless doesn't a society doesn't thrive when everybody is hopeless, especially children. When the next generation coming is hopeless, it's going to be that would be a hard society to have thriving, when there's no purpose when none of those children have any hope or see purpose in the future. It's and they really are helpless, like they're retarded.
Okay, we just watched.
Trust me, kids coming up today are useless. This is very interesting.
Well, we see it more after during our awakening. We learn so much more about the indoctrination system that we've all grown up in, and why we are sleepy. Why we're not awake to things is because we've been indoctrinated to not be, and that's because of mainstream education. These indoctrination camps, like they push how to live, how to be, how to follow order, not how to thrive, how to use your imagination, how to feed intrinsic learning. Like that was a huge wake up call for us. But similar to, we just watched the Hunger Games again because I just find how strongly that resonates.
It's just the way that it's so fucked. It's so fucked.
There's a new one coming out.
Of the Hunger Games, a new one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No.
Like soon.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I'll be curious. I'll be curious to see what that's. Yeah.
It's crazy how much it's.
We watched it again recently. Do you remember what he said about hope?
Say it. I do recall, but say the exact what. If
That
you
the dictator in the
Snow,
movie,
President Snow.
President Snow, he said that they push fear as a way to control the population, how they control people, and that if they have a glimmer of hope, that
Right.
that will create the uprising. Right? Chills, right? And this is so when we went through this giant awakening during the COVID era, and we actually learned what everything's about and who we are and what's happening in the world and the driving force behind everything. The moment we shifted out of that dark night of the soul of like this depleted, directionless life that we were experiencing to no, there's hope. We're nature. We are the most adaptive, healing, not pieces of divine light. And so our hope, we found the hope within ourselves. And our direction went from this fearful, prepping place to learning how to become more sovereign and spark the confidence and strength within ourselves, which lights up our spirit, which lights up our vibration, which also has that transcendence effect on others. Right? Our high vibration is like contagious. Right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just chat for a moment about our experience with the prepping and what we're seeing or what we've experienced and what we've noticed, because prepping transcends not just
We really shifted from prepping. Like prepping
Yeah.
was when we bought this place. It was from my lens. It was out of fear. I was for sure in fear and scarcity, and that was my driving force. Maybe you were already a bit ahead of me in that, but it was for me certainly out of fear and how to gather more supplies, how to be more independent from the system,
self-sufficient.
more self-sufficient, gain more skills. So that's my reason. That was one of my major reasons for being here.
I think that was a driving force for both of us. And it was also a way that we could see how we were starting to build the life. We were already doing that before we moved to the farm, but to have more land to garden and to be more self-sufficient, but not in necessarily a scarcity way. But there was definitely, that was at the beginning for sure.
But as soon as I got here, though, it was like my life shifted to being outside, like really being outside. Like I've always been an outdoorsy person. Don't get me wrong. That's a huge part of me. But I'm not inside. Like I'm outside all day long. In the summer, from like 7 until 10, for sure.
Yep.
We don't eat inside. I cook every meal that I cook in the summer you give me grief for it or not is on the barbecue. If I'm cooking breakfast, bacon and eggs, barbecue. If I'm cooking steaks, barbecue. Hamburgers, barbecue. If I'm cooking nachos, barbecue. Pizza, barbecue. Everything gets cooked on the barbecue
Yep.
in our outdoor kitchen. Like, I do not want to be inside at all.
Because we're living outside more, we're so much more connected to nature. And so we see the rhythms of nature. We see how everything works in harmony with nature and how everything has divine timing in nature. And so my fear, my scarcity of like, oh, I need to gather, because I was doing a lot of plant medicine work. I need to get more plantain, or I need to get more dandelion, or I need to go get more mullein, or I need to go get all the different medicines. And then, after being here for a few seasons, I'm realizing, oh, everything just comes back in perfect timing. And we need everything from nature at that time as well. So we don't need to hoard things.
So another interesting point on that, in that area is, do you remember when we found out last year, or earlier this year, I suppose, that they were going to make certain supplements and certain herbs illegal? Okay, and I can remember Tanya, the herbalist, saying, like, creating this post, and it was, no disrespect to her, I really enjoy her stuff, but it was totally fear-driven. Totally, the message I got, it was scarcity-driven, fear and scarcity. And I sent it to you, and you said, this is the wrong angle, man. Like, this is not the right angle for everyone to be looking at this from. We have everything that they're trying to make illegal, or whatever they're trying to do, suppress. We have it all.
If anything,
available to us.
They're demolishing small businesses again. Right? They're increasing the restrictions for supplement companies to be able to sell supplements. So that really only big industry can do.
Totally, which sucks.
Yeah.
It really does suck for one of my best friends is in this business. So I know that there are ripple effects, 100%. But what you meant by that was we all can learn. And the people that even have the small businesses, instead of, going online and ordering St. John's wort, guess what? You just have to go hiking.
It grows down the street.
You just have to go find it.
Yeah.
Okay? Or you grow it, I suppose. We just need to, you just grow an herb garden or something instead. But everything that they're trying to take away grows naturally in nature. You just have to do the work. You just have to forage for it, figure out how to create it into an oil or to an alcohol-based whatever, distill it, however you're going to do it. You just have to figure that out. And guess what? You figured that stuff out pretty quick, which was awesome. Like, you were doing that on Meadow Ridge before we moved. We were foraging on our in our back. I mean, we backed onto a forest, which is obviously amazing, but you can find a forest. Every neighborhood has a forest. So go find your forest. And
the lockdowns were great because I actually took herbalism courses during those times. And then we're out in nature, and I have a plant identifier, and I was just learning that. I was making stuff, and I was having a great time. And then moving out here, it just exploded that even more. But what the biggest lesson from all of that is that everything grows back, and that we don't need to be in scarcity with nature.
right.
And everything, like a lot of, pharmaceuticals and homeopathy, supplementations, it all comes from nature. It all comes from nature.
Yep. Well, exactly. Like, I keep seeing this thing for natural ibuprofen.
Oh,
What it's actually made from. Like, people think it's made from a petroleum product, which it
the
is.
wild lettuce?
But it's a root. I don't know if it's. I don't think so. But it almost looks like crap. The thing that you put in soups that I don't like. The root vegetable that goes in soups. Parsnip. It almost looks like a parsnip, maybe.
Or like a
But it's
burdock root or
something
something.
like that. But it's the root of it. But people just assume like ibuprofen was made in a lab by some guy out of petroleum. No, guess what? There was a natural ibuprofen that we used since the beginning of time, until someone figured out how to sell it to you and make money, and then lied to you and told you that their method was better and your method was stupid, and you fell for it. And so now you think that that's normal. And guess what? It's not.
Hey, we were raised on all the pharmaceuticals. You got a headache, take a Tylenol.
My house was like, come on, that's all. I can't, you know what I lived on as a kid? Gravel. I did. Because I had so much nervous energy that I thought I was sick. Every morning I thought I was sick. I didn't understand that I had it, like that I was sick, like that I was not mentally.
You're just so dysregulated.
Yeah, that I felt sick to my stomach every single day. So imagine being a little kid and like there was no lock, like we didn't, and again, it's not like I abused medicine. It's just, I just didn't even ask at points, right? Like, because my parents weren't home, right? Everyone was gone. So you'd wake up to go to school, you were alone. And I'd wake up with a sore stomach every morning and I'd grab gravel, which puts you to sleep.
It's like
So like imagine getting up in the morning, taking a gravel, then going to school and trying to fucking function. And then eating Tylenol like it was candy and Tums.
Yep. Tums. My
Dude,
dad.
oh my
Tums.
God, we lived on Tums.
I would snack on Tums sometimes if I wanted
Tums. Wasn't that the commercial?
Yeah. We had Tums. Like in the car, there was Tums. Or like, yeah.
That's so funny because, totally. They were
In
always
the car,
in the glove box.
we always had like a traveler's pack of Tylenol and Tums.
Oh, we didn't have a traveler pack. We had a fucking jumbo pack.
Yeah, like the big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the
Costco
big
size.
huge
Yeah.
bottle of it? Oh yeah. And if you were really lucky, they were the flavored ones, the different colored ones. And then my mom would pull them out to eat them, and I'd be like, "Oh, can I have one?" Like we ate them like fucking candy, dude.
So actually, this is interesting because this is part of why we're having this conversation today. Is that going from prepping and storing all supplements, whether it's supplements or medications or ivermectin or whatever it is that you're stocking up. Learning that your body heals itself and you become your own healer. You learn to become your own doctor. I don't remember last time I took Tylenol. If I have a headache, I use other things as a way to reduce my stress, reduce the inflammation.
The best thing for a headache is going to bed.
Yeah, getting your body into a relaxation state. Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah, lots of different things that you can do naturally. But the biggest thing is like understanding, okay, what's the root of this? Why am I feeling this way? And learning to become your own doctor instead of fearing your body and trying to make the pain go away instantly. So that's going from that prepping place of dependency, because prepping is really I'm not safe and I'm dependent on things to keep me safe. And sovereignty or independence is learning that you are capable and you have the power within you to heal yourself and to free yourself. So that's like the mental piece of stocking up on tons of stuff, whether it's food or medicines or antidotes, vitamins, whatever. Because we did that. We stocked up on vitamin D, vitamin C.
Guess what? Hey, here's such a funny thing. You can just go outside. Hey, do you have any vitamin D? No, but the sun's out.
Yeah.
Sun's out, guns out, baby. Let's go. It's so funny, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, we have also noticed that since being out here and paying more attention, being outside, chemtrails are real. This is a real thing. This is happening. We live in Southern Ontario, and it's a real fucking thing here. We are in like the heart of agriculture basically in Canada, where we are, and in Alberta is like the two main areas for growing.
Monocrops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we're right fucking smack dab in that. And so that's where the populations are. Okay. They are covering the sky.
We actually
region by region.
We wouldn't look at the weather network. Very, very rarely do we look at what the weather forecast is. We just watch the sky and how much chemtrails are in the sky because that will determine the next couple of days.
If the planes are up and the chemtrails are out, then we know the next day is going to be rain, cloudy and overcast and rain. It's incredible. So
we plan according to the chemtrails because
that's 100%. Chemtrails are out. They're going to make it rain.
Yep.
Which I mean is fine because it's not fine, but there's benefits to it to a certain degree because I mean, look, cloud seeding is nothing new. They've been doing this since the late 1800s.
That's how you have Dubai. Dubai's a city in the desert. They cloud seed to get rain there.
I don't have like I'm not a scientist, so I have done some research on it. I do have some information, but I can't speak to whether environmentally depends on, I'm sure, what they're putting up in the air. But I do know that it's a pretty it in the 1800s it was a basic chemistry formula to do this. Like it wasn't like they were inventing all kinds of things for this. It was pretty basic. Okay,
Right.
so there are benefits to that, but what they're cloud seeding over southern Ontario, I don't think it's because we're having a drought and it's good for us, right? Now, what I'm trying to say is in the summer, we this is crazy. We did not water. We have like an Olympic sized hockey rink, market garden, and we did not water. Okay? We watered in June a handful of times.
Yep.
I've got this big, huge sprinkler system out there and timers, okay? Used it in June a handful of times, never once. It just sat all of July, all of August, and we did have a fairly beautiful crop. And it was just because it rained so much, but it was not just rain. We watched the amount of chemtrails and rain that came from that. That's how often they were throwing these things up that we didn't even have to water.
Because when we go to the agriculture store in Woodstock, I mean, farmers all know each other and they all talk and stuff like that, and they'll usually share like how their crops are doing and stuff like that. Do you remember this past season, or was it the season before, that they had a really bad year for crops because of
It was the year before.
it was drought?
Yeah, it was
too much.
It was the first summer that we were here,
Right.
and we watered every day.
Okay, because that's also part of the reason why the corn prices went up
Yeah,
the previous year, because of
yeah.
crops.
So
Yeah.
so hold on. So they want to control the price. They don't want farmers to make as much money this year, right? So what do? Okay, drought. Oh, we need more. We need more chemtrails. You understand? Like they can just plan accordingly, whether they want farmers to have a good yield or not. If they want them to have a shitty yield and drive prices, then they don't seed.
Well, if you can manipulate the weather, you can control the crops. That's just the simplest way to put it.
Yeah.
You control the weather, you control the crops, and then you control the industry of the food system. Right? You control the pricing of the food, because if things are in scarcity, the prices go up. Cost of living goes up. Everything goes up. You drive inflation.
It's interesting.
It's really interesting. So
And people out there that think that I'm retarded right now, and if you're listening and you're like, that's not happening, I'm sorry, but you're actually retarded. Because it is, I'm watching it. And the other thing that's interesting is when you see them, how the clouds break up. The frequency, right? Like how they, if you look up and think that's normal.
the reverberation of the clouds. Yeah, like the sonic waves.
Right? Like you think those are clouds, bro? Does that look the same as when you were a kid? Because these fucking clouds do not look like they looked 35 years ago, 40 years ago.
You know what the clouds look like? You know when you put sand on a table? Have you ever seen those videos of where you do sand on a table, and then you play different vibrations, different frequencies, and they change into different patterns? That's what you see in the sky.
If you had to guess
What vibration that is? Well, it's not a high vibration. It's definitely not a high vibration in clouds, because high vibration, and this is the work with Dr. Emoto, the studies of where he would watch frequency in water, and the water molecules would change. And positive frequency would shift the molecules into beautiful, like snowflake-like structures, which is the same thing that happens to the sand when you play certain frequencies that are a high vibrational frequency.
She got a point. It'll all be geometrical shapes.
Yeah, beautiful geometrical shapes. But when when Dr. Emoto would play low vibrational, like say he would say words, like I hate.
Or like metal,
Right.
like
Yeah.
heavy metal.
Yeah, or play heavy metal music, and that would shift the water molecules into like really deformed structures. And so I have to wonder, because in the sky these aren't beautiful snowflake structures that we're seeing. They are they're just like a ripple.
Yeah, they don't look good.
Yeah.
They don't look normal. They don't look good.
Anyways, the frequency and energy, the weather manipulation, that's been going on for decades. That's nothing new. But what we're noticing is that we're noticing. We're paying attention. We're watching.
Yep.
And our neighbors all watch too, and they'll be like, "Oh, you see all the chemtrails today?" You know, like, it's like
But
yep.
that's interesting though, because you know that's all things that people were seeing before, but people weren't putting together, right?
You wouldn't question it. You would just go, eh. But I remember that as a kid going, how come they're dumping stuff in the sky? And nobody seemed to care. And I was like, why don't we care?
Your parents were just like, "Shut up, the government's good. They're doing what's best
yeah,
for you."
yeah. I'm busy working. I got stuff to do. I can't handle it. Like, I don't know. Yep. Yeah. I guess that's the big piece of this is that the preparation, the prepping mentality is this mentality of scurrying, like trying to gather all your seeds like a squirrel for winter, like you're trying to get everything and prepare, right, for I don't know, apocalypse, doomsday kind of stuff.
Yep.
And we were there because when we really understood what the 2030 agenda was all about, we went into full prep mode because we're like, shit's going to get fucked up. And we knew that they were going to drive inflation and food prices were going to skyrocket and there would be food shortages. And there was. We saw all that play out. And we started off with, okay, we're gonna gather all of our things, get all of our medication, get all the things that we need so that we're prepared. Except we're prepared for like a few, maybe 2-3 months, right?
At the old house?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
But
So
it wasn't even just that. It was just we didn't have the skills to survive more than like we were still dependent on the system. It was just how much can you buy and store,
totally.
right? That's the difference. Is
Yep.
now it's like we don't fucking need. I don't need any store really. I mean, well, that's not true. I need the flour mill because I'm not milling my own flour yet. So I need the flour mill. I need
Feed store because we're not making all of our own feed. We just don't have the manpower to do everything from scratch. And so our friends that live off grid,
I'm really sorry.
they went from. Can you just settle down? You're hitting the mic,
Trying.
and our producer's like,
trying.
like you're. Anyways, our friends that live off grid, they started off with homesteading first. They were doing homesteading because they're awake to everything well before us, and my God, do I love them because she really helped me.
If it wasn't for her, we would have probably got divorced.
Yeah.
Because she might be the only person on your side, I'll say, if I can say that. That
Because all my friends were asleep.
that was awake. So
Yeah.
when I started going crazy, you connected with her, and she was like, "I hate to break it to you, but she's right."
I'm like, fuck.
I was like, "Fuck yes."
Yeah, Dark
Fuck
Night of the
yes.
Soul, here I come. Yeah, but she really opened my eyes to so much, and they were our inspiration for how we've shifted how we live today. But I listened to them on a podcast a while back, and they made some really good points because they went from homesteading, where they're still on the grid system, and now they're fully self-sufficient, living in a yurt. They create their own electricity. They get their own water. Like they live fully like offline from all that stuff. And they made a really good point around. Do you remember the storm that came through southwestern Ontario?
Yeah.
And wiped out everybody's power. This was over a year ago now, but everybody was lost power from 1 day to over 10 days. And
That's the one where we lost power, right?
yeah, Thorndale.
So that's like almost 2 years ago, but
Almost 2 years ago? Okay. So Thorndale, I know, was out for at least 10 days or something like that. And this is a community that's all suburbia set up, and they're all grid. Like, it's big houses, nice new homes, but everybody's dependent on the system. And they're out of power for just over 10 days. What do you do? How do you live?
well, I know that I talked Jen into buying a generator many years ago. That's like was perfect for our old house. It's good for here. It's not great. It's not ideal, but like
It's massive, though.
well, it's massive. It's it's running at 7,500 watts. I think it started up at 10,000. So it's good, but like I can't power my farm.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to, but I've got it set up now in a manner that I can run it from the back shop, and we can run the house, but we can't run the whole house. We can't run every building, okay? So I'd have to pick and choose. I'd have to say, okay, I can keep the freezers running, and I can keep the well pump running. And that's probably it. Maybe the furnace.
Yeah, but that's pretty good because we would still be able to keep all. You know how many people dump their food in their freezers?
Oh, I know.
And we have
Yeah.
a stove in here. Like we have wood fires, so like we have natural heat.
If we could keep the water on and if gas in theory should still be running in a power outage. So if we could just have the stove in the basement, we have a gas fireplace in the basement. So if we could have that going and keep the freezers on and the water pump, because we have a well, but again, you have to pump water from the well, right? So that requires hydro. So we could be sustainable. We will be, like we were. Let me just say that we were out of power, not for that long, but we kept everything running. So one time my crazy idea paid off.
And it worked. It was great. We didn't lose any food.
And I
we
was
didn't,
really,
right?
remember none of the neighbors had, and I was like really shocked that neighbors in the country wouldn't have generators.
Generator. Yeah.
So anyway, but we felt good about that, and now we've got it wired 10 times better than it was, and we would be fine
In the city,
if
though,
we have gas.
if we have gas, we're still dependent on things, though, and that's when they were talking on their podcast about it, it's like that's great. You have stuff for like maybe 2 days, maybe 5 days, but what if something's down for longer? How do you? What skills do you have to rely on yourself to stay to be well, to stay alive?
Yeah.
To feed yourself. How much in the school system are kids taught self-sufficiency? How do kids don't really know how to grow food. That's not part of the curriculum.
I'm thinking right now though, hold on, I have to back up because I'm like I'm in prepping mode now, and I'm like thinking, and I'm like, oh fuck. For let's just say we don't have a pump and we don't have running water, but we have a pond. Okay, we have a spring-fed pond. So we would just have to walk out to the pond, get buckets of water, and then you'd filter them through the Berkey.
Yeah.
It'd be beautiful. You just put them in the Berkey, and
Yep.
we would have water.
Yeah.
The animals would just have to make their way there and drink that water.
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
They'd figure that out pretty fast, probably.
We just need some ducks to go in there so they can circulate the water.
Yeah. Anyway, I just had to.
Anyways, but these are the thoughts that are really interesting because when you live in the city and you're dependent on your house and the grid and everything like that, and you don't think about any of this stuff. When we moved out to the country, we are so much more connected to that self-reliance thinking, and especially when you have farm animals, we have to think ahead for them too, like getting water out to the pasture and stuff like that. And so these are, and heating up your shop, which is gas.
Propane.
Propane heated versus my studio is wood fire.
See, propane's an interesting gas if you want to talk about that for a second, because they don't really want to develop propane. Like here's what most people don't know. I worked at a gas station in the 90s, and we had propane. Okay, we had a propane pump for cars. Okay, and so there were a few vehicles. There wasn't a lot, but there was a few, and there was only so many stations. So if you had a propane running vehicle, I knew you, right? Because there's only so many in Ontario. Okay, and it would cost I'm just trying to remember, because there was this one guy in a white Dodge Caravan, the red-haired, disgusting, pedophile-looking guy, and he was so creepy. And he would come in, sloppy-looking motherfucker, and he would come in, and he'd be looking at you all creepy, because you'd have to lift up his hood, because it was underneath the hood. So, and you'd have to wash the windows. It was so fucking, and he'd just fucking watch you. And then you'd be like, $4.57, please. And he'd fucking go into his little change thing, and he'd be fucking counting out loonies and quarters. I don't even think toonies were invented yet. And anyway, but so think about how much money that is. Relative to now, that would be maybe, I would say $10 maybe. Maybe 12, maybe. I'm telling you. And so what happened to that?
That's actually really interesting because when I was in Hawaii and I stayed with Sharon, she lived off grid up on one of the volcanoes on the Big Island, and she was only by propane.
Okay, so my shop is heated by propane. It's a pretty big shop. Okay, right? Like relative high ceilings.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And it costs under $400 a year to heat that on propane. I'm going to say $370 a year to heat that. And that's with the tank rental. And it's a huge, I don't know, it might be 100 liters or 100 pounds, I should say. Anyway, and I keep that just because I keep that around 65 degrees. But when I'm in there working, I crank it. But only in the winter months. But I'm just saying the cost of that is pretty decent to have that. And so if you had a house, you see them all over the country that are all running on huge propane tanks.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting, and
in the country you see
in
that
the country you see it everywhere.
Yeah, they all have propane.
They all have propane, and I'm just
the off-grid house that we almost bought was propane. It was off propane.
it's difficult to find appliances. So you'd have to run it would be like electricity. Do you know what I mean, right? Like it's just difficult to find a propane fridge, a propane stove. You can get gas and convert them, but they make it hard. If you want to get it properly fitted and insured, they make it really hard. They don't want you to do it. Because I distinctly remember trying to get a propane fridge for that place in Muskoka.
Right.
And a propane stove. And the lady said that it was easier to get the stove because you could do a gas conversion, but that the fridges were super hard to come by, and they only make them small for RVs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You have a good memory. Jeez, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. And I remember doing the pricing and seeing how much it was going to cost, and it was like it is like gas, but think about gas. You have to do all the lines. Like think of how much work it was. So I mean, we'll just leave that for the next episode because we're going to talk about the gas conversions and heat pumps and stuff next. But that is interesting that propane, we can run on propane. Like we can, emergency wise, if that's something that you're, contemplating, propane's a really good heating source. And
yeah, we had that's how we had showers and baths in the winter.
And our hot water. Think about our on-demand hot water is propane too.
Yeah. Okay, so just to go back to, these are all, we've learned so much since being out here and this is what's wonderful is that we've learned so much. We're constantly educating and researching and experiencing and seeing the difference. But a lot of that stuff I wouldn't even considered, or I wouldn't even understand any of that.
We could have a hot shower in the barn.
Yeah, we can.
We could. I could set that up in the barn, and we could have a hot shower in there.
Yeah. Anyways, we'd be totally fine if the grid went off and nobody had access to electricity.
Yeah.
Okay, so going from that prepping to sovereignty, full independence, but with our health.
That's interesting too.
Right? Because we have like our mental health and physical health. Because the mental health aspect is one thing that I still see a lot of with men in particular. Women too, but men in particular. And the reason is because men who are biologically wired to be the protector, to be that strong divine masculine force to look after the family, that knew all the things that were coming from the one percenters, that the WEF goals.
So guys that are awake.
The guys that are awake, that know and are researching and reading more and learning more and are just getting more fueled with anger, but have nowhere to channel it.
Yeah, because it's toxic now to do anything masculine.
Yeah, well, and what do you do with all this information? That was the big part of this, was how do you cope with all this information? How do you channel into something that can be beautiful like what we're doing? A lot of, even today, a lot of people still don't know how to channel their pent up frustration and energy into something that can be used for their benefit, that can be used as good, for their highest good, and not to self-destruction. Right? So men need an outlet, or to channel, to build a hobby, and infuse that energy into creating a life that is more beneficial for them. Learn a hobby, build something, channel that into
Go chop wood.
chopping wood, right? Like taking care of your own physical health, right? Exercise, learn a skill. Like we know a lot of men actually that were learning and channeling that into, okay, I'm going to learn everything I can about, our friends in one community. They all took on a different thing to research around energy sources. And then they come back into the community and teach each other. Like, how brilliant is that?
Cool. So cool.
Right?
Yeah, I need to get actually in touch with those guys. They know so much.
Yeah.
They're just such a good.
It's the power of community.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing that our friends mentioned in their podcast, and it's so true, the goal for us isn't to be fully self-sufficient, because we need community. We can't, like, one of the things being out here is that we learn that very quickly we can't do it all. I can't grow everything. I can't cook from scratch all the time. We can't raise all the animals. We can't do it all. But we can specialize in a few good things and then trade with others.
Yeah.
Right? And the community aspect is that we trade services. We look after each other. And that was, my one side of my family's from Newfoundland. And when we went out to visit them, everybody on the street grew something different, and then they just traded with each other.
I mean, but doesn't that make so much more sense? Like, it makes total sense.
I was going to ask you, well, when do you think they started to say that the commune is bad? Like, when did that shift into something bad? Because that's what it is.
Interesting.
Commune, community.
Well, I think that would be. See, here's the thing. Again, there's going to be discrepancy here. So, whatever. My mom tells me about when my ancestors came here. So we're talking late 1700s. That the natives were. They were part of that community to a degree. Like, not, I don't know how intertwined they were, but that they would trade with each other. They would learn from each other. Because these people that came from Europe weren't retarded. Like, they had harsh conditions over there too.
They had skills.
They
Life
had
skills, yeah.
like, they weren't living in modern times in the late 1700s in England or Scotland. It was still pretty. And if you've ever been to those countries, without today's infrastructure, it would be very similar, right? So they had skills, so they could trade.
Right.
So I think that it was when the government decided that they needed to control. And so that would be, I mean, I think this has been going on for a very long time. A very long time. But, I mean, the residential schools and all of that stuff, when they were really trying to dismantle the communities, that was in, that's 1930, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80s. It went for a long time. So, I mean, neighborhoods, like, when did they start to get people off of farms and into, that was after the war. Those are like World War II. So I'd say probably around World War I, World War II. In between the two is when the plan, World War I's no joke. It's not like, oh, it happened by mistake. It's all orchestrated by the 1%. It was all planned by both sides. They know the outcome. It's not about war. Those people had nothing to do with whatever they told you it was about. It was about their backhanded things and controlling the money, the banking system, right? So that's how that all, I mean, I think they've been trying to destroy the community since then. And honestly before, but really that's when they started to try to ramp it up. And then World War II, same thing, get them back into these cheap homes, smaller plots.
Well, the Industrial Revolution was a game changer for like the baby boomers and stuff like that. For that. era.
But communities are communities though. Like they've tried to get people to, not be in communities. They've tried so hard to make people hate each other, and it is working, but at the same time,
it's our human nature though to be.
It's who we are.
I think we aren't designed to have like 1,000 friends and stay on top of all these different relationships. We are actually meant to be more like tribal, like with a small community, right? And just and to foster like deep connections with people and to look after each other. Like I think that's what we're more biologically geared towards.
Yeah.
And organically, that's what we shift naturally to. Instead of trying to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
That just actually keeps us in that fight or flight energy with things aren't, it's never enough. I'm always having to, it's very ego driven where you're always posturing and trying to keep up a persona. Yeah, it's, that's interesting. Okay.
Go ahead.
I just want to go back to what we've done as far as becoming more sovereign and independent, because you can do this in the city. We were doing this in the city before we moved to the country and bought our farm. We were becoming independent you were constructing our house and renovating our house and learning the skills of, like we said, that house in London was beautiful. We had a beautiful home because you did all the renovations yourself. But it was also the trial house for like learning the skills, because we were like, well, try it out. Let's learn and we'll find out, because that's how we learn through using our hands and trying things. So our house, we said we're going to renovate but we're going to do it ourselves and we're going to learn. You and I did a lot of herbalism and cooking from scratch, and so my areas of expertise were very different, but it was a nice harmony for the two of us. To build two completely different skill sets. And then gardening, we were learning how to garden in the city, in our backyard, small scale, just learning. We're just trying to figure out how it all works. And I learned lasagna gardening, and then I was like, wow, the ecosystem is actually really great, and everything works together, and I can just throw the leaves in and then the compost in. And I was like, wow, it's actually really simple. We've made it so hard.
You have to have a car because you have to drive to the plant store. And you have to have money because you have to buy the soil, and it's not cheap, right? And then you have to have even more money to get the plants, okay? But it's just so hilarious because it's like, wait a minute, if I just saved the seeds from my best 2 beans, even if I went to the store, right?
Yeah,
and got the beans from the year before and just saved those seeds. Oh, you mean those are the seeds that you put in the ground? Like, it's so retarded. Like, people don't know that, and people are like, it's just hilarious because
we didn't know that.
No,
like that was so.
Like, I mean, in kindergarten, I remember like that was one of my best memories was when you took a seed, and I can remember it opening, and I remember that, right? And we gardened as kids at my grandpa's and stuff, but I wasn't there on the day that he planted or anything like that. Like, I have no knowledge of that, and he didn't talk to me about saving. He barely spoke to me, so he just yelled. So he didn't talk to you about how to save seeds and how to pick the best of the best. We didn't know. We just worked. We just shut the fuck up and worked, or you got like beat. So that's what we did. No teaching of that kind, right? But like people, they literally teach us the most useless information 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for like 20 years of your life.
You learn
nothing.
You learn to be a student.
You learn to be in a prison.
You learn
and how to follow bells.
You learn how to be a student.
You learn how to be a factory worker,
which leads you into working for others. You learn how to work for others. Yeah, how to be a good worker.
They do not teach you anything important about life.
Yeah, so this has been a huge learning curve of us becoming more independent, even in like the education system with our daughter, and homeschooling versus unschooling. That's a whole other topic. But building our own skills builds our confidence and builds our strength. Like, we are powerful human beings. We have so much power within us that people just don't tap into. And when we started to kill our own chickens and harvest our own chickens, wow, the amount of gratitude I have for our own ability to feed our own family and raise our own and grow our own everything.
Yeah.
The amount of gratitude I have, and the more I see how sick, when I go into the grocery store, like how sick the systems are
And how sick people are.
and how sick people are, everything that we're doing is working together. It all works in harmony with how healthy we are mentally by becoming connected to nature, by slowing down, by being the observers, by watching, by learning, by growing. We're nourishing our mind. We're expanding ourselves constantly. And really, from going from prepping to independence and sovereignty is you're learning that you are the one building your reality, not anybody else. And so if I'm sitting on my phone reading information that sends me into fight or flight and I have nowhere to channel it, I'm doing a disservice to myself, and I'm also feeding this dark force, this dark energy, because that is a big part of the scarcity mentality of prepping, is that you are constantly feeding all of your energy to feed the negative energy in the world. Versus when I channel it into, we're doing the boho market on Thursday, and we're just making a whole bunch of shit, and we fucking love it. We love it. We're making bone broth. Abby, our daughter, and I are doing a bunch of art on wood. Like we're just making stuff. We're freeze drying fruit and herbs and
Yeah.
I don't know, fire starters, candles. We're crafting. We're always in creation. We're always channeling our energy to creating. And it is the best, honestly, it is the best for my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health. And we are the ones that are sovereign in our own health. We're learning independence in our own health, and we're teaching our daughter through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are we for time?
It's 52 minutes.
52 minutes? Okay.
What else you got?
Well, I guess we can talk about financial prepping versus independence, financial independence.
Okay.
So financial prepping, because this is a huge one, right? Because the World Economic Forum wants you to own nothing and be happy. If you don't know what that is, well, I'm sure most people that are listening do know, but if you don't know, you should do your research on that, because that's pretty messed up. And that's what a lot of this is leading us to, what the goals of, the political and whatever, is leading you to more dependency on things rather than more self-sufficiency or more independence. So financially, because they're draining everybody right now, financially learning that money is energy, shifting your focus instead of squirreling all of your nuts, all of your money, and saving, learning that wealth is abundance. Like there's so much abundance of wealth in this world, and that if you learn the laws of the universe, if you learn to build a healthy relationship with finances, and you're not in scarcity with finances, you'll see how it comes and goes more easily. And that you can expand your abundance if you expand your mind with it. But if you are stuck in scarcity with finances, one of the best ways to start shifting your mindset and your relationship with money is by having gratitude. I'm really grateful I can pay for these groceries. I'm really grateful I can put gas in my car today. Right? I'm really grateful I can pay this bill.
Yeah. Because there's always somebody that would look at your situation and kill to be in it. Right? I always remember that video or something where there's like a guy on a bicycle, and he looks over at the car next to him and he's like, man, I wish I had a car. And then there's a guy walking, and the guy looks at the guy on the bike and he goes, man, I wish I had a bike.
Right.
Right?
true.
It's perspective. So the guy on the bike, would fuck this fucking bicycle. I fucking hate it. I want that fucking car. But there's a guy on a bike that's like, man, that bike looks pretty sweet. My fucking legs are fucking tired.
Right.
I could really use a bike.
Perspective, right?
100%. And then there's
Yeah.
someone that lives in an apartment that's like, fuck this. I fucking hate this place. Like, it's too small. But, there's a guy in a box down the road. And
Hey,
he's like,
yeah.
fuck, man, I'd kill to have a fucking apartment with running water, man.
Our home in London, before we moved, it was suburban living. We loved the shit out of that home. We loved every corner of that property. We put love into every aspect of living there.
You should see it now.
Oh, it's not cared for the way that we cared for it. But anyways, that's exactly it though. It's the relationship. Do you care for what you have? Do you love what you have? Right? Because money is just energy. And what is your relationship to that? Is no different than your relationship to yourself.
Well, and not to mention, people really putting their money where their mouths are as far as that's concerned. Like, I'm a lot of things, okay? I'm a lot of things, okay? But one thing I am is ethical, okay? That's one thing that I am, and my word is my word, and if I believe something, I fucking stand in it, and so, it doesn't always mean that I'm a good wife, because we get into a lot of like disagreements over that, because I'm so strong in my stance that I will not shop. I will not spend a nickel of my money in a store that I do not align with. Right? Like sometimes I just want to go shopping. I just want to go get a coffee. And I don't want to see your fucking pedophile flag in the window. I don't want to see that shit.
No, we don't.
So,
yeah.
like, I'm not going in there. I either won't have coffee, or I'll make my own, which, you know what, I actually
Way better.
stopped drinking coffee. So it is what it is. But I don't even care. So I don't care. But, like, sometimes I just want to go and spend my money in a store. But it's just not that simple for me anymore. Like, it's just not. Like, who owns it? What do you stand for? I'm more apt to go into a store that stands for nothing, that just sells, I don't even know what the fuck they're going to sell. But if I just don't know anything about your political view on life, I'm more likely to go into that store than I am if I see a liberal flag or like Justin Trudeau. If I saw a fuck Trudeau flag, I'll go into that store. That's the only flag I'd go with. But you know what I mean, though? Like, what I'm trying to get at is that I try to support, like, there's a lumber store in town, an independently owned lumber store. I go there as much as I can. I've made friends with the guys. It's a great. Are the prices higher? For sure. For sure they're higher. They're probably 10 to 15% higher on things. But
when we can, we do.
Yeah, that's what you do. If you can, you do. And if I have to go to Home Depot, I have to go to Home Depot. But I try to go to the little guy when I can, right? As much as I can.
We shop local for Christmas. Like everything's
used too. Like,
oh yeah,
we went to Goodwill and did a Goodwill shop, and then Jen, I go, where's those jogging pants? And she's like, oh, I put them away for Christmas. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where we are.
Christmas gifts.
That's who we are now. That's who we are now. But who cares?
Like, I love it.
Who cares?
I love our Goodwill.
Who cares, man?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So just final thoughts, just wrapping up our episode today, going from prepping to learning how to become independent and sovereign. This is not only a way of living, it's a mindset. It's connects to your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, your spiritual health. And recognizing that if you are stuck in the anger and the fear mentality of I need to save and do all these things and it's never enough, you are caught in the trap of the low frequency, of the low energy, the fight or flight energy. And that right there is the trap. Mm-hmm. That right there is building the future for what you don't want to see. If you want to build into the new earth, if you want to expand your consciousness, the work is inside. The work is inside with what you can control.
And you talked about men having to do having a different needing an outlet and maybe reconnecting with nature, like hunting. I think is like we talked about it. It's like a great way for men to reconnect with nature and themselves. But like I hear from a lot of women, and I'm sure you do, that they're trying to find themselves
Totally.
and they're trying to figure out what it is that they like hobbies, because I think that women are growing up and they think that their hobbies are getting dressed and going to the bar. Like that's a hobby
Going out for dinner.
right? I
Yeah.
think that's actually women think that's a hobby.
What can we do? We'll go see a movie.
I'm sorry if you're a woman listening to this and that's not a hobby. If you do that, going drinking with your girlfriends, getting together for drinks, it's not a hobby. That's a numbing effect. That's like you hate your life and you're numbing.
I'm looking for
okay?
something to entertain myself with.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like, so if that's you, I think one thing we didn't really touch on was those women who are trying to find themselves, and maybe finding yourself is reconnecting with nature. And for a lot of women, reconnecting with nature is everything from, and Liz, yo, what's up, girl? I know you're listening. You're a fucking pork chop and you fucking reconnected with your garden, and you had a little garden this year and you're already telling us about
What
your
you're growing
fucking next year's garden,
Yeah.
right? So for women, it's like, okay, gardening. I'm sorry, that's not fucking
No.
anti-woman. That's fucking woman. You
Strong.
grow a baby inside your body. You're supposed to be growing food for your family as well.
Women are natural creators.
Yeah, and then guess what? You take that fucking food that you grow and you learn how to can. And you turn it into your next skill. So, okay, now I'm growing zucchini, and Liz was like, what the fuck do I do with all this? Now you learn how to fucking make zucchini relish, and you can it. Now you learn how to make tomato sauce, and you fucking can it. Now you've grown your herbs. Okay, now you learn how to fucking make your tinctures.
Right.
These are your hobbies. This is what. It's not watching Netflix.
What show did you watch? What shows are you watching?
This is not a hobby.
That's not a hobby.
Hey, yo, you can have it on in the background. Like, put on a show if that's what your deal is in the kitchen. If you're cooking, who cares? But like sitting on the couch doing nothing all weekend is not
Binge
that's
watching
not,
something.
That's not good.
It's numbing.
It's not healthy.
Chauncey, I know you're listening. We love you. And she's learning how to make tallow products right now and working with tallow.
Yes.
And how happy she is. She started gardening too. And she's using her gardening products too, and like cooking more. And like she feels like a new woman from becoming a creator of her own life.
Yeah.
So these are just two women in our community that have found a hobby and have sparked inspiration in their life and direction, and then are learning how to incorporate that as a way to make themselves healthy. And whenever
And in the city, they're in the city. Like this is, you don't have to have 10 acres, 100 acres. You can just have a backyard. You can have a balcony.
Yep. I had a balcony, and I had a giant compost on that balcony. And I'm sorry, Roxy, I know if you're listening to this, she bought it after me, and she had to deal with the giant compost. But every year I grew my own veggies on that balcony. So in the future, my hope is to do a canning trade party.
Yeah, next year. That'll be really fun.
Next fall. So if any...
See, that's the kind of party that I'm into having.
Right? Canning swap.
Right?
Yeah. We're going back to some
cool
trading, bartering with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, bartering skills, right?
And then we'll have like hunting, hopefully like hunting guys will come and bring different like meat to trade. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Different game. Yeah. Yeah. Which is way healthier for you than a factory farm meat, by the way.
And did we mention that it's free?
Right.
Well, ish. I mean, that's another thing though. They do make it hard for you to go hunting. They have made that pretty difficult. You have to get a license. You have to pay for that license.
You have to pay for the tickets.
You have to pay for the tickets. You have to pay for the bow. You have to pay for the gun. If you want to have a gun, then you got to get a gun license, which costs money, and then you have to take the course.
Which takes like over a year. Anyways, the process to do that. But hunting, fishing, these are great skills that are I have so much respect for.
And if you have boys, get your boys out fucking hunting and fishing. Don't raise them to be betas. They shouldn't be doing their nails. I'm sorry, but they shouldn't. They should be out hunting and catching squirrels
Using
and
their
being
hands.
boys.
Using
That's
their
what they
hands.
should be doing.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to let your boy be a boy and your girl be a girl. And if that girl is me, she'll be out with the boys catching the squirrels too. But if she wants to play inside and play homemaker, that's okay too. And maybe she wants to do both.
Maybe he wants to do both.
And that's cool too. There's a lot of like, hey, there's this chef in Texas that takes you out, shoots the animal, and then takes you back to camp, teaches you how to, that's what I want to do on vacation. And then he takes you and teaches you how to like prepare the animal.
Wow.
And then he fucking teaches you how to cook it.
Let's do that.
Right?
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah, Joe Rogan had him on, and he hunts with him. It's really cool, man.
That's a family vacation.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I'd rather do that instead of like
Yeah.
a cruise.
Sorry, Mitch.
Sorry, Mitchie. We've never been into
The
any of
one
that.
thing
guys.
that you say, like the one vacation that you chirp, is the one that my brother like does.
Or
a
okay,
living.
or all you can eat resort or whatever.
No, not all you can
What
eat.
are they?
All
inclusive.
inclusive.
I mean, yeah.
All you can eat. Can you imagine for fat people an all you can eat resort?
Well, they are though.
They are though, and they are usually.
And
fat
people
that
bring
go
their thermoses for the alcohol.
Oh yeah, that's so
How
true.
much can you gorge on in a week?
God.
Yeah.
And it can be like the Hunger Games, and when you've had enough, you drink that drink, throw up, so you can get
So you can keep
stuck
going.
more down your gullet.
Oh. Anyways,
On that note, we hope you liked this episode that probably went way off the rails as usual.
we love you all. Thank you for listening.
Get bent.